The following are a set of police messages that were received after the murders of Patrick Tate, Tony Tucker and Craig Rolfe down an isolated farm track in Retted in Essex in December 1995. The first is from the 7th of the 12th 95 from Anna Whitehead. I last saw Tony at 6 p.m. when he was picked up from my home by Craig Rolfe in the blue Range Rover. We were supposed to be going out for a meal at the Global Cafe, South Street, Romford last night, but he never returned. Tony was wearing jeans, starchy white vest, a fleecy North Sales jumper sweatshirt and Caterpillar boots. He was carrying a Nokia mobile phone. I later left a message on the phone answer machine at 8 p.m. He would also have had his address book, diary, with him. The second message, also from the same date, 7th of the 12th 95, from Ian Williams. Left home about 7 p.m. on the 6th of the 12th 95 and went for a walk down a track leading to a farm. Did not hear or see anything and returned home about 7:10 p.m. Also from the same date, from DS Moran. Heard a rumour about the incident, believes the three dead are Pat Tate, Craig Rolfe and Tony Tucker, and all have access to F424 NPE. Craig Rolfe was seen driving the vehicle at 17:30 on the 6th of December 95 outside Grays police station. Tate and Tucker are known to also have access to the vehicle. Also from the same date, from Donna, my boyfriend Anthony Tucker went out last night in the company with Patrick Tate and Craig Rolfe. They're in a blue Range Rover, part index NPE, which is jointly owned by them but not registered in their names. They were due to take me and two others out for dinner last night but didn't come home. Informant then became hysterical, stating that she knew they were deceased and that they'd been murdered. She went on to say unless action was taken quickly, that it wouldn't end there. Also, that by the time the police got the killers, they would have to dig them up. Demanded to be allowed to identify bodies, started swearing and becoming abusive. Declined to give address. The following two messages are from DS Hadley, the first from the 7th of the 1st 96 and the second from the 14th of the 1st 96. The Adams family from London are heavily involved in drugs. They have information that there was a fourth person in the car with the three deceased. This person is supposed to have been killed and burnt in a car. And also, information is that a fourth person is dead but hasn't been found yet. No more details. From the 8th of the 12th 95, Bernie Lee, seen at work, is a known associate of Tate and Tucker. He gave general information regarding background of Tate and Stephen Ellis. He states Ellis has been in Essex recently but has now left the country. He states that a Kim, surnamed UK, who is currently at HMP Chelmsford, was informed of Tate's death and has thrown a complete wobbly in prison. Inquiries reveal this to be Kim Webber. Tate had recently obtained a new mobile phone. And for the 11th of the 12th 95, I have seen someone today who's made remarks re the shooting. It's only hearsay. Person who gave the information is blind. They got a taxi from Shenfield to Highwood Hospital, Brentwood, ordered from the taxi rank. The driver of the taxi said it knew people had been shot, said it wasn't drugs related, and that the young person shouldn't have been there. That was a mistake. I'm concerned re comeback of the taxi passengers, as pickup was from their address. And from the 15th of the 12th 95, Rolfe's funeral is next Thursday at St Gabriel's and will be a flashy affair. About 8 p.m. on the night of the killings, all three were seen in the Fortune of War pub in Basildon and were with another male who is known to the landlord. They all left together. The following from the 3rd of the 1st 96 is from the Exeter CID. We've had contact with a person who has a good connection with the drugs world in the London and Kent areas. This person is alleged to have taken over the work which Tate, Tucker and Rolfe were running. This work started at Christmas time and is still current. The contacts has stated they were shot because they owed the firm £60,000. He's had a lot of phone inquiries in hand which say be connected with our murder inquiry. He's in London next week and may be able to bring information down with him if needed. And from the 15th of the 1st 96, from DS Antonizia, contacted, stated that after the funeral, Tate's relatives were looking for Nipper Ellis, as they were believed he was involved somehow with the murders. And from the 3rd of the 3rd 96, We have a missing persons inquiry for Linda Millard, aka Miller. She's been staying with friends following a breakup of a relationship with a man called Terry Ball, aged 51. She left Ball 10 days ago on Wednesday the 28th of the 2nd, 96. He found where she was staying, and on the 1st of the 3rd, 96, she disappeared. Her car has been found on some cliffs, locked with her shoes inside. She was staying with who has told DC Hawks the following, which they learnt from Millard. Terry Ball is formerly from Essex. He had 5 to 4 houses in Essex, each worth about £500,000. The house he now lives in is worth £450,000. He's unemployed, with no visible means of income. He's very flash, jetting off to Portugal to sort out business. On the 7th of the 12th, 95, Ball and Millard were at home when the triple murder was broadcast on the 9 p.m. news. Following this, the phone started ringing. She was locked out of the room. Ball was on the phone for 4 hours. Millard believes Ball was involved in funding drugs, counterfeit perfumes and pornographic videos. She thought he had some involvement in the killings. She was so disgusted with Ball, she left him. So a few interesting details within those police reports and messages. Linda Millard still missing to this day. A spokesperson for Avon and Somerset Police said there are no arrests had been made to date, and a 51-year-old man was interviewed at the time of the original investigation and allowed his property to be searched, but no evidence of any wrongdoing was found, and no charges were ever brought against Terry Ball, who, according to several sources, has now passed away. Now, also within those messages, you had the sighting of Craig Rolfe and Tony Tucker and Pat Tate at the Fortune of War pub, but no official statement was ever taken by Essex Police. Now, of course, if this sighting is true, that goes against everything that Darren Nichols said in his version of events, what took place on the evening of the 6th of December 95. Also, there's the police report message from Ian Williams, who says that he walked down the track leading to the farm at just around about 7 o'clock, which is the time, according to Darren Nichols, was the time the Range Rover was arriving down the lane. Now, Ian Williams did make a police statement, but within this statement, he doesn't mention walking down any lane or farm track. Ian Williams goes on to say, I walked to the top of my road, turned right onto the A130 heading towards White House Farm. I walked along the pavement through the village. I looked ahead and could not see much, so I decided to turn around and walk back through the village. I was about 50 metres short of the bridleway on the same side of the road as the bridleway when I decided to turn around. It was dark, snow was on the ground, although it was not snowing at that time. Traffic was average for that time of night, but going slightly slower because of the road conditions. I do not recall seeing anyone else walking or any cars turning into or out of the bridleway. I cannot recall seeing any movement in or around White House Farm. I certainly did not hear any gunshots. I continued walking back and onto Battlesbridge. It started snowing lightly. I returned home around 8:30 hours. So slightly different details there from the actual original statement and the police message, which states that Ian Williams did in fact walk down the isolated dirt track with no vehicle down the lane at the time. Also within those messages, there's the confusion of who was really attending the meal booking that evening with Tony and Craig Rolfe and Donna Jaggers. Because on Tony Tucker's answer machine, you have the messages left from Donna Garwood. Also, there was the police message or the police report, who presumably the Donna stated is Donna Garwood. But Anna Whitehead also mentioning that she was meant to be attending the Romford meal that evening. So confusion on who Tony Tucker was really taking for the meal, or in fact was he really taking both, which seems to be the case when it comes to the police reports. And that's of course if the meal booking wasn't just a set of alibis for Tony Tucker if he needed to be somewhere else on that evening. And also within this police reports, the early confusion and the rumours and speculation of who done it, with the mention there of Tate's family looking for Nipper, possibly after Nipper's story that was sold to the Sun newspaper, stating that the three were given a choice of death by bullet or by axe bit by bit. Nipper later admitting the story was completely false and done just for the purpose of making money. and also the rumour of the three owing £60,000. But just like many aspects of this case, there will always be rumours, theories and speculation, just as much now as there were after the murders took place.